Hi, babies. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in this room this evening, okay? Uh yeah, we gonna get into things, y'all. I'm gonna be very honest. Before I even get into my intro, I'm gonna let y'all know how raw. Okay, don't we always say it's all authentic, raw material and organic up in here? Let me tell you how raw it's going to be this night. Okay, the night. Okay, I don't have not a net note. We're going off top of the dome. We're going to talk about some things. I do apologize humbly for my tardiness, truth be told, because we are getting into talking about work and venting, because I don't know about y'all, but it is much needed on my end. I mean much. Okay. I'm gonna get into some things. I got receipts and everything, y'all. I got to read y'all some stuff. We got to go. We got to get into this thing right now. But so much so that it's such a high volume of people having to and needing to vent. But work, I was talking about producer. We had to get some things out, and I got all hot. But things physically was sitting here like, oh, I'm hot. All right, take the shirt off, yo. But I kept it on. You said the shirt that I wore out to a little impromptu date last night. Okay, moving on. So, hey, y'all. Welcome and welcome back to another episode of the B Mix right here on bexposeradio.com. You already know what Thursday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. are for. I don't care if I was late. You already know still to be ready to tune on in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday on bexposeradio.com. Why? Because it's for everybody. You know, the me, the unseen, the unheard, the forgotten, the overlooked. Okay, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that just does not belong anywhere. Again, the me, everyone. Welcome and welcome back, baby. We're gonna take care of business first, okay? Because keep that in mind. It's a little shade. This is keep that in mind. That's what I like to do. I like to take care of business. Okay. Oh Lord, we're gonna get into work then and just I'm itching. Okay. What did I say? What I started off just last month with sharing with y'all one of my favorite things. Like it's so good. I haven't even hung it up, y'all, because I keep it right here. But my calendar, which is year round for this year of 2021, History of Racial Injustice by Equal Justice Initiative. And so it has every day of the year, something that y'all good America's America has done or not, because isn't that always the case? Shout out to America. So today for March 18th, 2021, our Black history or within the history of racial injustice throwback is dated in 1831. U.S. Supreme Court declares in Cherokee Nation versus State of Georgia that tribes are domestic dependent nations whose relationship to the U.S. resembles that of a ward to his guardian. That's y'all's Supreme Court. So there you are. Put that away. Let that fizzle on out into the atmosphere. Okay. So here we are. That today is March 18th, and my mother just made sure, because y'all gonna have to work with me. There are 150 people in here. They're not. There are 5 children in this house that I am keeping, my nieces and nephews, along with my daughter. Let me run down these ages, because I know I didn't talk to y'all about them before, and then we're really gonna get into our stuff. But these are the cluster clan that's around Sydney's age. My baby is approaching 4. She's gonna be 4 in just a few weeks. April 3rd. Whoop whoop. Cannot believe that. Anywho, so her cousins, because we have some's down south, some's older, all over, and so her cluster clan, because we're cousin cluster that we come out in. There's the oldest is 8, right? And all of them so M's. So I call them the M's, okay? The real ones, either one, the M's. And so you have 8, the almost 4-year-old, okay? So same age, twin girls, and then the boy, okay? You got the 2-year-old boy, my nephew, youngest nephew. So got all them in here watching them for the week. So keep that in mind as I get into telling y'all about this stuff with work. I'm gonna make sure my phone don't die because I really got to read y'all stuff. Y'all gonna bear with it. Because guess what? I don't mean no harm, but what y'all gonna do about it anyway? I'm finna tell y'all all that it got to do with, okay? And y'all can always feel free to call in, comment, text, and all of that to let me know any grievances you have going on at work this week as well. But without further ado, before I go anywhere, child, my mother then wrote me a note because I'll tell y'all something about these new ages. They will let these babies do whatever they want to do. Yes, they will. But so grandma is in the building helping us out. Either way, shout out to my mother and father for their, is it 38? 38. Okay. Okay. I get they've been together for known each other for 38 and then they got married. Okay. Because I was 2 years old when they got married. So I'm trying to figure that out. And I just turned 31. But 38th anniversary today being March 18th. So shout out to mom and dad. That's my mother had to write a note and walk into me. Okay, so moving on. Y'all. Again, I'm sorry, I forgot to say when I said to call in and text, my bad. The phone number 443-642-9403. Feel free to call in, dial in, text, and again, you can comment and all. But come on in this place. But please also let me get through my stuff. I ain't lying. Today, I really just want y'all to hear this because whatever you were dealing with at work, not to say that this is worse, but I bet this will help you feel better. Also, keep in mind throughout the duration of this segment, okay, of this venting session of mine, that this is a professional. So it's supposed to be a professional environment. Okay, let's get on into this thing, shall we? So here we were. It all started in a little shack in Willacoochee, Georgia. It didn't. It started right here in Baltimore. Okay. I currently, I don't know if I won't. I am the program manager for a nonprofit organization where we serve as an intermediary, meaning that we right in the middle, child, and we help to sponsor trainings for those that want to either enter into the healthcare industry or to advance their careers within the healthcare industry, usually targeting those that are, undereducated, a mix of all or one or the other, but undereducated, underemployed, unemployed. So again, that's where we, look to offer entry-level trainings, as well as then I said those that, can advance their careers within the healthcare industry. Okay, sounds great, right? Amazing job. I feel like no, I didn't. I had already started this job, but I'm sure at some point I've talked about like how great I felt that this was. Enjoy my work, easy work. I remember prayer. This was an answered prayer. So here's a question, a B mix question. Okay, B is not even a B tip of the week, but a BQ B question of the week is, what do you do when or how do you handle rather? When your answered prayer now becomes, your burden, that God is actually using it to shake up the atmosphere in order to prepare you for your elevation. Okay. When he's making you uncomfortable in your place where, you've been and you didn't really see a reason, not that I have a plan to stay forever, but he's definitely showing me that the time is now. Amen. So to give you all a little slight history, background to bring you up to date, right, of this week. Long story short, as of this past Tuesday was the day, that we have a new executive director. So within, COVID, we've kept the work moving, right? We've had two transition of first our admin, our administrative assistant. So that's one heck of a type of transition to have when you, adjusted and adapted to everything virtual and work remotely, yada, yada, still providing trainings, closing out trainings and all that. Also to mention, by me being, and why I said the program manager, there are two other program managers within my organization, okay? The other two have one program each, and they have a career coach within their programs, okay? Which is the story of my life, I always seem to have more on my plate. I oversee, and it's only really because as of recently in helping within the transition, having initial one-on-one meetings with my new executive director. So that's the second transition that we've had versus admin assistant, now our executive director, that I've realized that I oversee over 8 programs and I don't have any help. Okay. For the purpose of this conversation, one of those programs includes our only youth program that we do have. It's running through the summer in conjunction with Maryland Office of Employee Development, MOED, or youth, right? As well as the city schools. Okay. Okay. I have to just breathe. Okay, not breathe. Okay. So because I'm gonna go ahead and have these emails up. Okay, I'm gonna go on and get these and have these together for y'all. Cause I don't want y'all to wait on those when I'm ready to bring them forth because they are good. You hear me? I mean good. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's enough content for background. So here is this week, right? So Tuesday, monthly we meet. We have a program committee, right? My position or role historically has always been to chair this meeting, right? Okay, this is a meeting. Let's set the scene. Okay, we paint this little picture. Okay. Oh, y'all don't worry about that. I slid some of that coconut butter all on my face, child. Greasy now. I know it looks sweaty, but y'all get over it. So, honey, we meet monthly. Okay, this meeting, like I said, this program committee meeting consists of a lot of our partners. We have different partners, different stakeholders, but our partners include hospital partners. So almost all, but definitely some of the major hospitals in the Baltimore metropolitan area, if you will. So yeah, the ones that are probably coming to mind when you hear that, yes. So we have, those, and mind you, these are not the small people within these organizations. Okay, so we have these lovely professionals on the line, as well as we have our community partners. So some of those that we get referrals from, and that we have other programs that we run through. So just a lot of different legs and arms, right? As well as what I said employer partners. So those are the hospitals. And then I said community and training partners. So of course we partner with local community colleges. Again, probably the ones that come to mind. But I'm tasteful. Keep that in mind, because what am I name dropping all that for? Unless I really, really have to specify. But okay. And it's a good practice for me finishing up my book, okay? Because I am in the chapter of right now everything about work. So I'm probably refer back to this episode to help me with this thing going on here, because I'm getting through all the other mess that I've ever dealt with in the past about work. It's something about my spirit, baby. I told y'all before that I'm a good pisser offer, apparently, and I can do it without trying. And because people just choose to be offended by me. So for the folks, for that genre of folks that are out there that feel like, that all were told like, oh, well, it must be you. Now, some of you, it's you. Don't get that twisted. But for those of us that are always trying, always giving our best, putting our best foot forward with good intent, which is me, I'm always trying to do good. And it does not mean that not so good doesn't come back to me. Okay. So that we're left to be misunderstood, because it seems to the naked eye, right, to the average Joe, that, it must be you then. I've been told that before, like just trying to talk through some things like, well, it must be you. If you have different issues with all these different friends and it keeps being the same thing, nope. Enemy just keep on coming in different form and trying me, okay, but building me up, okay? No shout out to the enemy. All God. But God, amen. So, finally, like I said, this program committee, we meet monthly, all these different partners. Let me back up just a taste, okay? We'll start talking about people. So there's this one individual that sits on our executive board, for nonprofit organization. Of course, you have to have a board. And so our executive board, there's a smaller transition, but this is a transition of like power and like leadership as far as overseeing this program committee as in the representative to the exec board. So there's this one white woman, I'm going to call it out because I was used to this in my issues in the past for work and all, have definitely been with white women choosing to be, I'm sure, just the lack of better words, is intimidated by me. I've sat at many, many tables where I'm a combo of either the youngest, only Black, only woman, only all in between. It's still some of the roles that I play. I sit at tables where people are double, and I'm now 31, double. Damn near thrice my age. Okay, I've been there, and I've been in the professional environment for over a decade now. So imagine when I was much younger, people definitely almost quadruple my age. Amen. Okay, moving on. So But yeah, so this one white woman, okay, um, child, she now is the person that oversees this committee, okay, and she before it was white guy, it was great, it was laid back, and I'm not saying that I have the issue because she's more like hands-on in this and the third. It's the inconsistency for me. It is, thank it is. It's the inconsistency for me. It's the nastiness, the unnecessary nastiness for me always. I never understand it. I have always so much going on and coming toward me that I choose to be positive because I just really don't have the time to be negative. I know for sure with my life story, I have every right to be the nastiest, most bitter in the world. Okay, I do. I can. I think at any minute I can go ahead and put a call in, like, I'm gonna just go ahead and be a bitter, nasty, but I choose not to be because I don't want to be. It's heavy, you know. it's heavy, like it comes on down. Our executive producer is hilarious. I'm not talking to him right now. I can't hold my laughing. I'm laugh. Okay, moving on. So, but actually, like I said, choose not to be. So here's Miss Ma'am, okay, Miss Mama Girl, and I just recently thought like somebody really knocked her up. She has a child, and here I am. I checked on it at one point. A child, sick and all. How's your daughter? And she, oh, thank you for checking. Of course, be a bitch to me, but I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check on you, baby. Ain't no issue. Anywho's, because I'm a good spirited person. Okay. Why I always say, what y'all thought this episode wasn't going to talk about self reflection and working on the inside of self? No, this is why I'm always preaching to y'all to work on, or preaching to us to work on the inside of us, right? Work on your inner man. Okay. Work on your spirit man. That baby has got to be strong in order for your carnal, okay, your flesh to be able to bear the book, this everything that comes towards you, okay, y'all? Because y'all know I'm okay with y'all to, I'm okay with y'all to say and express yourself however you need, but I'm working on me. That's it. It's just for me. It's me to be more tactful with my words and all of that, because apparently even my good words, my not so no words can piss them off too. So I just, I'm working progress. That's why I'm bleeping myself, okay? But y'all go ahead. If you need to get it out, baby. Again, if you call in 443-642-9403 or texting it and you need to tell such and such, then you get it out, stay. Okay? We're here. This is a safe place. Go on, get that thing out. Anywho. So yeah. So Miss Ma'ams, okay. Prime example, like she's come on she has a few she wants to talk about, which I'm fine with. I am always for the work, the business aspect of things. Let's move the work forward. Let's push it. I promise you, I'm no longer interested in pushing forward anyone else's vision. Amen. Watch me. I'm gonna walk y'all there. I'm gonna get y'all to where I am. So with Miss Ma'am, she just literally just had an issue with me. Just snapped, very nasty. Just the interaction has always been unpleasant. Okay. So prime example of before my old executive director, I'll say ED. So follow me. So my old ED, before she transitioned out, we were on one of these program committee meetings. Okay. In the middle of the meeting, it's all virtual. So, it's face. I'm giving y'all face. Okay. Thank God I'm much better at holding my faces. So, baby, this thing says she had asked for something to be on the agenda. Mind you, this is the same person that asked beforehand for me to put something on the agenda. And then when I yielded the floor to her to speak on the very thing that she asked to be put on the agenda, was, I'm not sure. I don't know I'm not sure. Okay. So now here we are. Like I said, in this example, just to show you how nasty she's been, just toward me. Ain't nobody else but me. This thing, we're on the middle of this program, one particular program committee meeting a while back, and she says, she emails both myself and my executive director and says, Benia, I see that I asked you to put this on the agenda. I see you didn't put on there. If we could definitely get it on next time, that'd be great. Thanks. Executive director, at least somebody took up on me in that moment, because I had only this combativeness, okay, with her directly. So it's like I never got a witness. Just never. Can I get a witness? Okay. Excuse me, my little outburst. I got like a little slight spiritual Tourette's or something. I don't know. Side note, y'all gonna deal with me keep playing my throat and talking like a man, because allergies really, they've been kicking me too. So moving on. Excuse me. I know that probably sounds all kinds of. It's like that person that's sitting behind you, just you like, ooh, what is that? So I don't want to be that person, y'all. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all can wipe your screen off because I'm that person. Somebody call while they on the phone. I'm gonna wipe my phone. Like, okay. I digress. So, honey, when I say at least my executive director, then she decided she responded back like, "Hi, it's on the agenda. There it is. We just haven't gotten to it. Oh, thanks. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much." But we had been good. Okay. Okay. So here's this person. This is also the same person that when we as the staff, and we're a small organization, few of us, it's only, I think, a full staff of us is 9 people. Of course, that don't, I told you already, that don't include no help for me. I'm getting to the good stuff, y'all. I just got to build y'all up. Okay. I'm thinking of that, what's that game on The Price is Right? My man climbing the thing, then you get over there and then fall over. That's that's what's going on now. I don't want y'all to fall over. I want y'all to fall into excuse me, into this mess. Woo. That hopefully makes you feel better about anything that's going on with you at work. That I still want to hear about, but I'm trying to let y'all know something. It's some over here. So, honey. So this is the same individual, okay, that we as the staff were allowed to, pre-interview this candidate, our finalists, right? And so this is the same individual that sat on the exec board, and so she had told us they set up this whole thing, so it's fine, it's a Zoom meeting. Okay, she gets on, she says, "Hey, just to let you guys know," right before she brings her on, "Hey, just to let you guys know that the board is going to do whatever they want to do anyway, but feel free to give us any of your feedback." So what are we here for? Why am I logging into this meeting, sir? Go ahead. Okay, bring her on. So we have this talk. Sister girl gives us this, family, and who I work with is my family, and this and that. Just painted a good old picture. I'm not gonna lie. I said it before. I'll say it again. I always vote all things black. I didn't know. Okay. So whereas I've had issues with white women, okay, and what y'all call them out here, the Kerns. Guess what my new executive director name is? Okay. So I'm black. Like you like, okay, so okay. We go from what our old executive director was black. Okay, black woman. I appreciate that at her farewell like thing that we had. One girl finally just said it, and it wasn't even on our staff, it was actually on our party. She said, like, I'll just say it, like, I appreciate the fact that it was representation, like a black woman. It was executive director, and that's what I was excited about when I signed on. Like, okay, you're the executive director, you black, you're a woman. All right, then that's good. So that was good, right? So then here we go. So fast forward, that was that. So let me give you a little. That was just a little side note. Here we get to baby girl. Okay, executive director, new executive director. We're in. First and foremost, let's go back to when it was February. Okay, it was February. She emailed us and said, what was it? Okay, right. So the end of February for the work week was the 26th, right? It was that Friday. She emailed us either like the 23rd or the 24th, that Tuesday, Wednesday, requesting, mind you, for a year now. Oh, by that time it was coming up on a year. But for a year now, we have been working remotely. You have to consider that. You also have to consider still a very active and current world health crises and pandemic that is in effect. Redundancy, and I was redundant for a reason. I can't even find the words. Intended. There we go. Oh, Lord, I'm stuck, y'all. Okay. So she had emailed us. Where she came in February 16th, right? That was our February program committee meeting, and introduced her. All great. Oh yeah, okay, cool. By then I had been a great sport and sent email, congratulations, okay. So, which I'm not looking for any parade because of that, but just saying, like, it's always been good spirit on my end. Okay, on my end. Mm-hmm. You gotta work on your inner self so much that even when you work on yourself so much and feel like it deserves, some type of parade or just some type of acknowledgement, some type of appreciation or respect at the bare minimum, because that's what's biggest and that's what's most important to me. Excuse me. You have to be able to, not that I'm saying lay down and take it, but you have to be able to accept the fact that there are others out in this world that will not render you those rights of yours. Okay. And thank God that I'm at a place where I'm not looking to be acknowledged. That's in the Bible, ain't it? I told y'all know I ain't gonna call no person name. But that's Bible. I said, don't you look for no pat on no back from no man. Better look for the well done, thy good and faithful servant. Come on. That's what I'm living. I'm living to die for that. Amen. Living to die for that. Come on. I can't wait to hear that from Jesus. So, I mean, I can wait with you. It doesn't matter. At this point, we'll get back to that. So anyway, no, because I don't want y'all taking that the wrong way. Never mind. Listen, I don't mean nothing by that. Let me clear that up now. If you are feeling that way, there are definitely services and hotlines that I would definitely want you to get on to now. Now, I don't take that lightly, but I just want you to know that I just mean my faith is carrying me so much that child, whenever that time comes, I'm looking forward to seeing them pearly gates. Okay. I don't even question that. Okay. So I'm working every day to make sure that I got my ticket. Okay. That's what I bet. I didn't mean nothing else. I want y'all to think I'm going to go off myself. No, you're not there. Okay. We thank God. But if anyone is, I want you to know that I don't believe that is worth it. And I think that you are worth staying here and pressing through whatever it is that you are bound by. I think you're worth pushing through that. That's for anybody that's listening. Okay. It gets heavy. But I don't want you to feel like it's too heavy. That is no other choice but to make such a definite decision. Okay. So this thing, yeah, she emailed us, like I said, 23rd, 24th, something like that, and said, starting the month of March, I would like for each of you to begin working in the office 1 day a week. You said March, like the month that starts Monday? I never said that. I just left it alone. Let's go back to where she had asked for our initial one-on-ones with her to be in person. Why? What are we doing in person for? One person's because of inclement weather. His was virtual. I had asked and expressed, my uncomfortability, like just at the whim. I mean, the whim, when they had all been scheduled via Zoom. On the whim, you're asking for us to just come in. Yeah, you're abiding by, so you say and all that, but I still had questions when I even came in there. Like, I ain't seen no wipes on my desk. Is it per office or is it per desk? Because all the 3 program managers, we have a very nice, spacious office, but still, I don't think it's 6 feet apart. Anywho, but we share the space, which had been fine, of course, pre-COVID. And then any policy that had come in place beforehand is all I refer to is that, we had policy. You have to consider coming into anything new. You have to consider what was, what is, what has been. There's policy that was in place that we had been informed of that at the very least we would receive a 30-day notice of when we return back into the office. Not a weekend. That's unfair. That's uncanny. A lot of us have children. There are only 2 of us that are single moms, and you do have to consider that. You actually do. Mm-hmm. And then mine is the youngest. So if anybody has one that's around my age, she at least has some help inside. And I think somebody just dropped stay-at-home dads, which is fine. You got another adult in there to help you out. Okay, I'm getting to the good stuff, y'all. Promise. Okay, we're getting there. So there's that. So it's already little things to where she had asked. We had a staff meeting coming up, honey, and I'm just sprinkling little bits of caring before we get to the good stuff. That it was my other staff, so we got a mix of a few whites and a few Middle Eastern, like Pakistani background and all. Okay, like just different people and a few other 2 other blacks. Okay. So, they all went into that. Like, well, no, professionally, like, no, I'm not comfortable with it. So she canceled the entire staff meeting. That was stupid. Why? Why would you cancel the entire meeting? Just have it by Zoom. Oh, are you having issues with, do you not know how to work Zoom? Sis, say that. Say it, stay. I help you. Come on. Yeah, let's log you in. Now, I ain't that tacky, but I can get you on the Zoom. Or I can call you and I can help. Like, that's the issue, that people decide to have issues and grievances toward me and to make me their enemy, whereas I am like the biggest helping hand and the biggest helper that you could possibly find. And I don't mean big, fluffy. Y'all know what I mean? Like, at heart, like, I will help anyone. I can't help that. Like, I can't help but be helpful to me. No. But so that's that's going on with her. So let's now speed up. Okay, like I said, so now this past Tuesday, this month's program committee meeting. We're on said meeting, and we are discussing. I had on the agenda, okay, per our one-on-one. She didn't even care that it had started. So it was one of the snowstorm days that we had. I'd emailed her way in advance. I think our meeting was at 10 a.m. right? And I emailed her at like 8. Didn't hear anything from her. Pressed through, came in the snow. Okay, got it. It's like you could care less. Then you're nice to tell me like, oh, we go way past an hour. Like I had asked, like, hey, are we gonna meet past an hour? Like I'm trying to prepare like my comfortability and coverage for my child, all of this. Like, okay. Go in and meet with her, and it was definitely over 2 hours. Oh yeah, I think it was a little over 2 hours. It was definitely over the hour that was set. Okay. You ask, what is it about you? And this and that. I wonder if it throws her that I did start running down, started my own podcast. Maybe I shouldn't have said all that. So that was my issue of just running that tongue, just like. But okay, because is there a question that I'm doing anything? You ain't questioned my work or my integrity. Well, you challenged it, I guess, in your recent behavior. But anywho, so honey, I told her that I'm in I've been taking up, servant leader training, like, I'm very spiritually, firm, and things like that. Just my podcast, writing my books. Like, I think I mentioned books, but just things, right? Just, formed my own LLC. Like, maybe that bothered you. I don't know. Why? Because you happen from one organization and I really wonder why you came over here from that. Like, I wonder, what was the interaction from them? Like, are they happy? Like, hey, and just gone. Like, hey, I'm sure they were there partying because I couldn't imagine. Unless they're just as unprofessional and nasty as you are. Because that's about the only person that can accept you and appreciate you. Okay? Moving on. So, honey, okay, like I said, so first of all, like I said, to the program committee meeting on Tuesday. Oh, no, I was going back. So because at the 101, she asked me specifically, we were talking about all my other programs, but definitely the youth program. So the youth program definitely did not run last year because it's a great program. I think I haven't seen it, run yet. When I came in, I started just in 2019, right? Long enough though, to figure all this out. So time to go. Side note, I was never one of those millennials. I'll be so honest. I was so traditional in my way of thinking, even though I was like a split between very open-minded and just free-spirited and just open to different and new and all that. But just things like, okay, I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna stay here, boom. I didn't think that about this because of my work beforehand. I told you that organization was hell. I was stupid. They just couldn't figure nothing out. They didn't know what they were doing. And here I was. Anywho, so I'm newly like learned to be one of those millennials, but at the end of it, I've always refused to be anywhere where I'm unhappy. And it definitely includes work. Like I don't want to be. I don't know how y'all have found fun and enjoyment and fulfillment in, complaining about work every day, all day. I'm not happy about that. I don't make a mess, at work. It comes to me, okay, and we work through it, and then it's just the matter of trying to figure out, like, okay, is this worth it or not? Like, okay, this is not. This is absolutely not. And I'm making the most money I've ever made. And before, even when I was 18, I was making pretty decent money. I was working in a professional environment, always making a little more than probably my peers and stuff like that. So it just, always had that, not upper hand, but just more. Okay. And so then still, I took some pay cuts in recent past years, but then back to be like, okay, yeah, this is about my worth. Yeah. I'll take a little more, of course, but this is good, right? This is cute. Still not worth it. Not worth it. Even with these bills, I know, and I got a little mouth fee and all that, whole house and everything holding my name. So trust me, I understand where I stand right now in responsibility lane. Okay, so Karen, okay. At our one-on-one, she specifically asked me, like, you know what? Okay, I explained to her again. This program, like I said, is a really good one. The short end of it, under normal circumstances, the students. Or selective students that are in like a certain track within high school and rising seniors instead of summer between junior and senior year. They're selected through YouthWorks because that's how they're paid. Then if they apply to be in our program, students is known to be an elite program as far as I knew, which sounds right because again, it's worthy of that. And so they go through all those processes, and they're selected anywhere between I think like 40 to 80 students. So a good amount. Okay, right? They under no terms they will work directly in the hospitals to get, I like grandma snack now. So they yeah. So they I'm sorry, I was listening in my ear. I was listening with my eyeballs, in my ears. Like, well, grandma is finally, and grandma, like, not you letting these kids run all. Child, these new age grandmas, I don't understand. So she finally been a grandma. Moving on. Um, so because I correct myself up, sorry. So, right, they will work directly in the hospitals, and then they're like teacher mentors from city school, like just a lot of different pieces that come together. They're different. You never know which areas of the hospitals because it's like on volunteer basis as far as which department within the hospitals, but there are so many departments within each hospital, like these a great program, right? The issue was that back in 2019, when I just came on in August of 2019, so that program had just ended. When I found out this, the local school district had tore it up. That representative, she had tore it up something as simple as working Excel, that she placed students all over just wrongly because she went to filter it and then didn't filter, all content and put address, just nasty and just ruined it. My Edie was pissed. Like she was so mad. And I came on because the person that, was in my position, my role beforehand, she went on maternity leave. So my Edie was actually doing all that work and all that. So she had her hands really into the program. She was just pissed and could tell like just sitting in the room. But that the representative that like the person we in our direct contact, that she's one of those like true city school nature, just brush over the wind and oh yeah, this talk all good. And it's like, okay, but wait, the fine line, the stuff that really matters, like the integrity, the quantity, as well as the quality of work, like everything can be questioned and judged. Okay. So there was so last year, right before COVID, like everything was like, okay, we need to. I'm working 12-hour days, y'all. I'm going out to schools, presenting here. I'm making copies and writing this and doing this. Like, ain't no work, office work. No, we're intermediate. We're pretty laid back. It was an answered prayer for when I accepted this role because it was like, Lord, pay me real good to do some easy work so that way. And this is why God is shaking me up, me saying this out loud. I'm reminding myself that I asked, like, let me get some good money and some easy work so that way I can focus on the stuff that you need me to do. And it took COVID for me to finally bring forth some of those things that even I've been sitting on. So I got to finish this book so I can eat. Like, I'm finna eat off of that. I already know that. We finna eat good. And it's a couple of them. So I got to stop playing. So yeah. So, honey, this thing, she asked me in our one-on-one, right? She asked me to put this program on the agenda specifically so that way we can have the employer partners to decide. She literally said, we already know the answer is no, because I explained everything, all the processes, all the pieces in place that just seem like this program cannot happen because of where we are. City schools, we met with our old ED with city schools and all that back in October 2020. There were things and pieces that should have moved then that were not. Those things that were promised to have happened back then that did not happen. So here we are in January, where I get on the phone with another person, and with no disrespect to her, but child, she talking my hair and all that, so we getting to talk my hair. And then you decide not to present in our program committee in January because we didn't have I think it must have met in November because we didn't have a December meeting, right? So I was like, okay, we'll meet in January. That looks good, right? It didn't do that. It decided last minute not to do that. So that's a ding because we should have started these conversations. Now here they finally came and presented in February, and then no sign on. So me trying to do damage control, not having any of what because the child from six schools didn't even invite me to the youth works meeting. And we are the work site. If you familiar with youth works, so we're the work site because all the hospitals, it's all through us. Like it comes together. We're the intermediary. So the pieces that come together come to form, right, all in, it comes together by us. So, honey, it's coming, y'all. I know it's like, okay. So, I put that on the agenda because she says I explain everything. She's like, okay, I get it. So the answer is going to be no, but we just can't, as an organization, we shouldn't say no. So I'm sure it's going to be some backlash. I'm like, oh, there's going to be no backlash, but okay, I respect that. It's okay. That's not a problem. But in the meantime, so it's like, okay, well, there are deadlines coming. You want me to put on the March agenda, like the application for the children, for the youth to complete the, all that process. That deadline is tomorrow, actually. And so we met Tuesday. So 3 days. Okay. That's all I knew. I didn't know it was an extension. Apparently now there's some news coming out there that's extended to the end of the month. But why are we doing anything last minute? which was mentioned on a meeting that I had to have with city schools. And then that our direct contact that she brings on her team lead and all that, it's like, so this can't, no, it cannot. And it is because literally hospitals have told me we cannot sign on to this. And it's because I didn't have anything to go off of to present to them a youth program because I didn't have any details. When I was promised that I would be put in contact with the teacher mentors, all that, they were supposed to write a curriculum. That never happened because this is the first time it's supposed to be all virtual. So the hospitals are trying to figure out, like, listen, we got shit to do. Like, how am I supposed to, give y'all, and am I supposed to be on and talk to these kids for 5 hours in the day? Like, what does this look like? I had nothing to give them. Nothing. Because of city schools not doing their part, right? I'm not even one to point blame, but let's just talk about it. So because of that, I've always talked about it tactfully, but still. So, honey, then it goes to, so like I said, it now fast forward again to Tuesday. So we're on the agenda. I'm bringing it up, talking about it. When I say she cut me off so nasty, Benia, let's table discussions. We can't make this decision now because we need more information and all more detail. It was so nasty. It was worse than that, y'all. And so I'm like, but my things, I'm confused, come from a confused place because you asked me to put this on the agenda specifically for the employer partners to make the decision whether or not to run this youth program, which is fine because I was left to meet with city schools by myself because you're pushing forward. I tell you all that's going on, right? Keep that in mind because I was just told that I didn't tell her that. I was just told that today. So I've told her, before and during there were emails, I told her about those. Then I told her about once I had the meeting and just what came from that. I've always kept her abreast of the situation. Again, today was told that I didn't do that. So she does all that. So I'm responding, but you didn't even allow me to get details because we were supposed to talk about 2021 and then talk about there were other youth opportunities to engage youth in different ways that this program would not look the same. How could we say in the past it's been 5 weeks and you lose 1 week because it was orientation week, and now it's supposed to be all virtual in 6 weeks? Tell me it's going to look different, but tell me how we needed to have worked that through to uphold the integrity of the program. So we've lost that again this year. Got it. Now I'm questioning the integrity of this organization because of this person that wants to operate as a dictator. Again, not a problem, but you keep saying literally everything she has said from the beginning is, I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Everybody's a family. I want us to work together and all that, but you are nasty. I'll get there. So there was Tuesday. There was that. I respond, I'm talking to the committee. So because I'm like, well, because I'm the one that's chairing the meeting, so I still have to talk. So you cut me off there, and I was like, well, responded, and well, if we're going to table this, I just want us to be mindful that the deadline is in 3 days, that we need to make some decisions pretty quickly and things like that, because now there's this discussion for other partners that are expressing possible like just redirection of the program, stuff that should have happened because this was on the agenda back in January and then February and now March. So where was all of this before? Oh, okay. So got it. So when I tell you it goes from that to this is where the good stuff comes in, y'all. This is where we're going to end on a high note, promise. So then immediately after that, I'm just gonna read to y'all. Sis reads, and when I say you sending me these emails that are like text messages, misspelled, unformatted, unprofessional, nasty toned, okay? You send me an email directly after saying in the subject, this is the whole subject. Please schedule with Lauren, which you misspelled her name. That's our administrative assistant. A time to see me on Thursday in person. Thanks. That's the subject. The body read, in the meantime, space, comma, please schedule a time for us to meet with city schools and youth employment folks ASAP. All their names are all lowercase on that. Thanks. Okay. I respond, I am not scheduled to come into the office until April. We can meet Thursday via Zoom. We can discuss potential meeting times with city schools and YouthWorks after we clarify box position. B. She responds, Benia, we need to meet ASAP. The format is ridiculous. I am very concerned about your delivery today. Additionally, we need to meet with the schools and YouthWorks sooner than later. Box, even our own, this is our organization, our acronym. She has it all misspelled and unformatted. It's crazy. Box position is to move forward with this investigative steps. Are you refusing to meet with me? Are you being insubordinate? All these spaces, call me, I'm in the office. Okay. So I'm gonna read to y'all what my response was. Okay. Because by this time, so there's a gap, right? A gap in time. So I sent this response, but this by this time now we've gotten on the phone. Gotten on the phone, and you immediately I answer, you immediately go into because you were disrespectful and rude to me. I can't you did this and said this to me, and never admitting and acknowledging what you've said to me, you cutting me off and being disgusting, very unprofessional, which now there's two other staffers that at least have given me just an idea, like, okay, it's not just me. I'm not just making this up. Like you did all of this, like in front of partners. How unprofessional. Again, questioning the integrity of the organization. Okay, as a whole now, because this is you now represent us. I no longer want to be a part of it. And so it continues on this phone call. In my mind, I'm like, we're going to meet on Thursday, on today. So ain't nothing else to say. But now it's like, oh, so you want to discuss how you brought up words like rude and disrespect. Okay, well, since we're discussing that, Aaron, I want to say this and this, and you cut me off here, and whereas you asked me to put this on the agenda just to undermine and say that we need to table the discussion that is supposed to bring forth this decision in the first place. Okay, and it makes no sense to me. Just understand that I'm coming from a confused place, and if we're supposed to be some alliance and working together, you're supposed to be my support. That's what you need to be. You're showing me none of that. Okay, so I really need to get in to all of that on the phone, because at some point we're now talking over each other. I'm going to end this conversation now because it's getting there. Okay, Karen, you have a good day. Click. We're not doing that. No. So I nicely, crafted this. Given I could have moved different clauses and had it flow a little better, but I don't care. At least at that point, I was just trying to get everything out. So I told you I was reading your receipt. So here's my response, right? This is after those emails I already read to y'all from her. Like I said, nasty and unformatted and all of that, just really nasty. And then that phone call. Okay. Oh, because on the phone call, she mentions that it was things like, it was two things. She said that I seem to have a personal agenda, not to want to run this program. And then she said that because I kept saying how we could not do it and this, that, and the third. Because she never let me get to anything else. Like, you cut everything, you chopped it at the knees before we could discuss things. Like, I'm confused. So, okay. Because even with the partners, maybe even expressing some interest then was, well, okay, so that I was still confused. Like, okay, does this mean we still running it this summer? Like, what are we doing? Because y'all saying let's do it, but okay, again, we have to do this in 3 days. So we got to make a decision. It's got to be quick because these kids need to be, it's stupid. So then she also had said, I'd mentioned to her during our one-on-one, she cut me off. So she's cut me off funny times before. She's never been as rude as Tuesday was, right? But definitely cut me off before. And like over the phone and things like that, she cut me off just to ask me a question that's something I've already said. So when we were talking on the phone, I'd said, well, in our one-on-one, you cut me off before, I remember, and asked me specifically for the context that I've had, like say school, say schools, but definitely with youth works and all of that. You asked for specific, names, spellings of names and all that, and said you had some contact and was going to reach out and get back to me. Backtrack for a second. During that little interview that we had before she came on board, one of our staff has actually been around like for 10 years, so the longest of any of us, had asked, like, just, well, do you have any contacts? Like, what you bring to the table? Like, and Karen's answer really gave me like, oh, you don't have any contacts. Like, you want us to believe that, but okay. So in this conversation we had Tuesday, when I mentioned this, like, well, I don't recall. I always have an issue with that. So now I feel unprotected. So anything we say and I talk about, you can just say you don't recall. Okay, cool. So here's my message, my response to her after, like I said, the emails I just read y'all and the conversation we had. Karen, no, I am not refusing to meet with you. I am not willing to go against the agreed upon decision to come into the building starting April 2021 per your email to me on March 3rd, 2021 at 12:52 p.m. It is not fair to be referred to as insubordinate, because remember, she asked, like, are you being insubordinate? Due to my unwillingness and incapability to accommodate your preference of meeting in person, despite its contradiction to my 30-day notice of work to return. To return to work. When I tell you, even that email was unprofessional and just the way it's formatted, oh my Lord. But either way, she gave me the 30-day thing because I explained that, this is the impression that we got. Like, why am I pulling everything together? I have a child. Everything has been home all this time. I expressed to her at that time, like, my mother. So I'm trying to be nice to you. I know it was Stampy earlier, but it's like, girl, you doing the most. Because she's still her. Y'all don't get twisted, but child. Yeah, she has some health things going on. So anyway, I expressed to that, like, it's serious stuff. Like, we got some results from a biopsy that now some things have returned, and just don't want no treatment, no surgery, no chemo, no nothing. So yeah, about throwing my child to her, I don't know. Like, so anyway, so she had granted me my special 30-day notice to be able to return. So I go in April, and her plan was of us to start coming in 1 day a week in March, then 2 days a week in April, and then back by May, June, completely. Still, that her answer to the shared office of the 3 program managers was to give us smaller workspaces, so that way more than one of us can be in the office at a time. When again, in that policy that we got way back when, was that one person is to be in the office at a time. So we came on like an ABC schedule, and they would just rotate like that. So where this is coming from, like, none of what you say and do makes sense. It's all nasty, it's all unprofessional, unformatted, and all. Okay, so back to the message. I go on. I'm very concerned and offended by your initial response to my presentation, having cut me off mid-sentence, completely ignoring all that we had discussed previously. During my initial one-on-one with you in person, against my will and comfortability and concerns of safety on Monday, February 22nd, 2021, also despite the inclement weather, my safety and concerns were not heard and ignored. I contacted you much in advance to inquire about the heavy snowstorm that had commenced prior to our meeting time. Because now at this point, I'm mad, I'm dumping out everything. I have expressed to you that several times you have cut me off while I was speaking, in which I have felt to be rude and disrespectful. I'm not sure what you may have been told about me or under what impression you may be in regards to me, but I'm sure that disrespect is not to be tolerated by either party. I was embarrassed and felt completely disrespected, to say the least, at your interaction with me in the presence of our partners. I simply included Bach Fellows, it's our program now, so, and welcome the committee to make the decision whether or not to proceed with the program for summer 2021 at your directive during our initial one-on-one. Furthermore, you asked me for exact contact persons with correct spelling of each name for both partners involved, being city schools as well as YouthWorks, saying that you were sure that there would be backlash for not participating again this year, and had some contact and planned to reach out. Seeing as though during our continued conversation during our phone call this morning following the program committee meeting, where you expressed your concern for my response to your stating to table a discussion that I attempted to facilitate at your request, considering closing deadlines. You felt to be disrespectful, never once owning your disrespect shown towards me initially. I expressed to you my confusion about the fact that you clearly stated to me that Bach needed to render our due diligence, quoting her directly, and allowing partners to make the decision whether or not to have Bach Fellows 2021. And then to be told mid-discussion that we should table the very discussion that would lead to said decision. On this phone call at 11:23 a.m. today, you also expressed to me that you felt as though I was leading with my own agenda and decision not to proceed with the program, when in all actuality, that was never my intent. I shared as tactful as possible why we as an organization are where we are with this decision, that several partners had expressed their lack of commitment for Bach Fellows 2021. I also shared that we would have needed details around program logistics at least by the time Bach Fellows was discussed on the agenda during program committee meeting in January 2021. To date, we have never been put in contact with teacher mentors as promised by City Schools back in October 2020. I have shared all of these details with you during the few meetings you and I have had over the course of your initial 30-day tenure. I know that you mentioned on our call this morning your apologies for not being my executive director back then, and I'm not sure what you mean by that. To be told during our call that you do not recall ever mentioning to me that you would speak to your contacts and get back with me has me uncomfortable with meeting with you without a witness. At the least, I am requesting that our next meeting on Thursday, March 18th, 2021, to be recorded. Respectfully, Benia. So then there was one more email from her. She never responded to that, ever. She responded, Benia, I found your conversation today with me on the telephone today to be very disrespectful and insubordinate. Your actions as a result of the program committee meeting were in direct conflict with the direction of the intent by the participants in the meeting. Please be advised that you and I need to meet on Thursday to discuss this matter in further detail. Please contact Lur to schedule a time to meet. I understand you are not comfortable coming into the office. The meeting will be scheduled via Zoom this time. Let me remind you that in April, you will need to come into the office as discussed previously, Karen. Again, all unformatted and nasty. Got it. And so fast forward to now the meeting that we had this morning, because no, let's not fast forward to that. It was actually, there's a little piece in there before we get to today. So now she also, so along us talking on Tuesday, she requested for me to set up with, or there was some meeting. Yeah, there was actually some email where she requested for me to set up a meeting between youth works and city schools. Shit, that should have been done. Okay. So I did it anyway, though. I'm still gonna push the work forward. Not a problem. Because again, I'm not against no program. Why? I was hand walking and delivering, and I have all of the applications here at my house. Like, papers are disgusting. So trust me, I cleaned them. Move them. So, like, I was putting in work for this program. I'm very patient about youth programs anyway. That's like a lot of my, past work experience anyway. So anyway, that y'all heard about the own personal agenda and all that she said over the phone. It was like disgusting. So I still emailed all of YouthWorks, right? Even back during our one-on-one, I mentioned to her that who has been over YouthWorks for a very long time, that there was some transition coming. So then that city schools had also said that that's why they were going to find out the contact and put us into contact. Like, never did any of the things that they promised. And so, honey, I still sent those emails, get the bounce back from the director that she is now since retired. Okay. So I messed up one thing. Instead of saying youth engagement, I think I said young engagement. She had emailed, she's nitpicking. She had emailed and said, what do you mean by young engagement? So I just give her a little blurb of the program, because I was still reading as youth engagement. So you mean youth engagement? Thanks. Okay. I put great, Karen. Thank you so much. I think it's a great, good eye. Thanks, Karen, for the catch. I'll be sure to resend it to the group because I've since received some new contact for youth work since she has retired now, and I just got that bounce back. Okay, cool. So nothing else. Even now, I'm going back just a little back and forth, even with the secretary, like with my secretary, who is very unprofessional, needs so much professional development. It makes no sense. I wish she knew because she's a Black woman. She's a mother, and she has a fiance, I know, but still, like, just you need professional development and should take heed to someone helping you if someone could even get that close to you to be able to do that. So trust me, again, why I say it's a work about working on self so much, because the inside of you can really turn off people from wanting to help you. I want to share with her that it makes a difference referring to because she's your colleague, even though it's her executive director, that's still your colleague. Okay, so you can refer to her by her name, calling her Miss and Mrs. That sets a different tone and standard, especially by you being very unprofessional. I'm also trying to help you with Linda's white ass and that's the one that I said it's been gunning for me. It's now going to, I've since learned it's going to facilitate the programs going forward. That was before all of this. And I talked to Linda, told her that Karen had just told me, and then Linda said she didn't know what Karen was talking about. So now I put that on the email, so now anybody got nothing to say. Okay, cool. Because let's set up a meeting. Let's talk about it since you're unclear. Okay. Not interested in these games. I am not interested in any of these games that involve other people and their messes and all that. I know as I go forward and just my endeavors and all, I'll have to deal with people, but I'm very selective and very prayerful that God only connects me with, those like-minded and, I'm not interested in this. And so, yeah, so it's like with my secretary, like, you're just, when she sends me the minutes from the program, they are oh, y'all, I feel like I'm editing a high school paper, if that, middle school probably, like disgusting. Like where I mark them up now, and I think I've saved the last two just so that way, because I was like, at some point maybe I'll try to just either send it to her or talk to her and just like let her see, because she always like, are they okay? Oh, thanks for them. And I have to sit and edit them before I can even send them out to the committee. Like, it's disgusting. So, but you yell at people and talk to us all stupid and nasty on staff meetings about the timesheet. Come on now. Like, you got to get it together. So with that being said, along with Tuesday, so it was a lot of back and forth, of course, with Karen, now with Lauren, that I asked a simple question, because now I'm getting all these meeting requests. Okay. So one meeting request mentions about, it's entitled Karen and Benia, well, Mrs. Karen and Benia's biweekly check-in. But then in the message, it says, to happen every first Monday. I just say, hey, Lauren, just wanted to be sure. Mind you, I just had all this back and forth from boss and all this. Hey, Lauren, just wanted to be sure that is this meeting bi-weekly or monthly? Well, I can't tell you that. I think I said ended it like, let me know, thanks, or something. I can't tell you that until you tell me what day you're coming to the office. Thursday. Be blessed. Okay. So, because I guess you kiss up there to make sure secure secure it. That's fine. Do what you need to do, but it just won't be at my expense. I am no longer interested. Y'all, on Tuesday, it was that March 16th, 2021 is the first and only day that I've ever felt like, Lord, fire me. Isn't that how you get unemployed? Like, I've never moved on and not had something secured, right? So, but I'll be very honest when we talk about some spiritual stuff, and this is going to touch back on this part next week, but because I remember I said last week was stuff I was going to touch this week, but I had to talk about it. Had to get this out. So, we'll touch on the fact that, it's taking heed to the signs and what you're showing. God has been, if not very clear, like it's nothing like very clear, okay, you about to do this, but it's definitely, I know I can't even ignore or deny the feeling of there's a shift coming, right? For me, my life and all that. Also the fact of, a leap of faith, and where of course Benia having still a little bit of like control as far as, I'm independent, like, all right, I got responsibility and all that, but I got to activate my faith now, right? I don't know how, so I'm very prayerful now. I'm about to be back just on my face, praying to God, like seeking his face about this specifically of just how to move forward. So that way, we don't like for anything in here, because with God, you never will. But just so that way I'm also not uncomfortable either, I don't like the feeling of, owing somebody and all that. I've been late, sure, gotta figure a few things out, sure. An independent, single mama, listen. But working things out, like I don't like to, no, not feeling like, oh Lord, are the lights going off this week? Yeah, we about to get put out, like, no, no. So anyhow, so all of that, right? What was I saying? Shoot. I went on a tangent. So like I said, it was back and forth with Karen that on Tuesday was the only time I'd ever felt like, Lord, let them fire me. And then how you get unemployment? Like I never thought I would plan for it, but listen, that little penny that would be, I guess, cute. Only cute compared to, what I'm used to, but it would be something, right? Coming in while I figure something out, because I've never felt like I want to leave them high and dry. I don't want to help transition anybody into my role. Figure it out, Karen. You want to be so nasty about it? Figure it out. This huge grant we're about to be awarded. You called to give me that information right before the program committee. That was fine. That conversation was cute. That okay, like that. That's okay. Like y'all figure it out. Y'all get these programs together and do the project schedule and all that. I had to do that to find out that the last piece to tell y'all about is that why I mentioned in my response of when it was that she had mentioned, like, I'm sorry I wasn't your ED back then, all that, because I know I'm sure at some point we'll come around to talking about our past ED. How about baby girl? You gotta be prayed up, y'all. Because I know church hurt and all that. And it'll be people that represent the church for you and people that you'll know, like, oh, you go to church and all that. So you should be, no, that's you putting your faith in man. I will never. My faith is never in man. My faith is very strong, very heavy. I got a lot of faith. None of it is in man, ever. It's all in God, right? Because here it is, another, woman of God. She's not in ministry, but just always we were able to, connect that way. She would confide in me and tell me, confidence of just different issues with herself, as our old ED, with herself, her own daughter, and just her situation and things like that. But even like other staffers, that not in a nasty way ever. It was just like, hey, if you could, keep such and such in prayer because they lost this or this, or just they're going through this, please. Always never came back to them. I would just, reach out like, hey, just, hey, how you doing? This is on a staff meeting. You all right? Things, but always prayerful, right? Even on Tuesday, y'all, I called Karen and all of my staff out by name in prayer. Like, you got to pray for your enemy, y'all. You got to activate. You gotta, you gotta, it's still work to do. You cannot find yourself to become so weary in what is thrown at you to lose faith, right? And to lose the battle, because then you're too tired to do the work that it takes to pull yourself out of that. It's a lot of work and it's tiresome. It is. You do something to recharge, you do something to rejuvenate, do something to reconnect with yourself, your inner self, your higher being, your higher calling, and you get back to it. Then we've talked about that before. I was like, hey, say if it's all of us out there marching, especially with a lot of protests, a lot of active protests for, the Black Lives Matter movement and all. And I was like, imagine if you're out there, you're tired, and somebody, you can slow down. Like, you can't maybe walk as fast as everybody is or whatever. You slow down a little bit, get toward the end of it, and then now you got enough energy and rejuvenate and get back. This slow down does not mean like slow back so that way you can get all the way to the back and stop and go on and go eat. Like, no, get the grab, snack, keep on pushing, get that water. Or, tell somebody, hey, can I link arms with you? I need, help me. Like, it's the same thing in life. You've got to keep pressing. I've always known that, always lived by that. So here it is, like I said, my old executive director, who I've recently told, and I'll definitely get into next week, of the conversations that I've had since Tuesday and about Tuesday, with other staff now. Um, that have told me that they thought that myself and the old executive director, that we were best friends, and that they thought maybe I was phony, and that I've always been misunderstood. So I told y'all the show was for me. It's for the people like me, misunderstood. All I've been is me, but I do know how. Yes, what did my one staff say? She said, I one colleague, she said, like, you, she was like, you know how to play your position. I know, I say I know how to play my position. I think she said, you know how to play the game well, play your role, or something like that, like in a nice way. And I was like, yeah, I'm very good at code switching. I know how to maintain, it's not phony. I know how, because I'm just a good spirited person, like I said before. So I know how to be a good spirited person unto people, even if you wrong me. It doesn't mean I now, if people shouldn't fall back as a person, that's me, personally and professionally. But fall back, they're still working that. So there's work to do and everything. So like I said, with the old executive director, so she's confiding me and all that. But yet at times we've had, some issues. She wanted to tell me I was a minimalist. Come to find out she's been micromanaging everyone. I thought it was just me. I thought we had issues. I thought just because, like I said, when I came on, she had been doing, working my, duties and responsibilities personally because of the transition. There had been a gap, a little void for a while. And so I was like, maybe it's just hard for her to let go. You could tell that she had like, some control issues. Okay. But I can respect it, honey. And then you're giving me like busy work tasks and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. What, you want to undermine me because I'm younger? Like, no, like I was all of a sudden, that's why you never, I'm learning. Just get around that. First, I would be like, oh, you know my age, I don't care. But it always, oh, I feel like it's like you could be my daughter. No, I have friends that are there for it. Like, no, no. And I don't even feel like that. Like, oh, I have a white friend. I mean, I have a black friend. Like, no, it's not even that. But now I have people, colleagues, like, no, I can definitely run with the best of them. So, no, that's your fault that you don't want to see that. So, this same executive director, like I said, that's asked for prayer and all that. So, for my, Christ believes and all that, it's not for us to be like, that's crazy. You asked me for prayer. But yeah, I've got my little taste of that. But okay, right? Because come to find out, another one of my colleagues, she had texted me some weeks ago, and said, hey, I'm still in the office, and our old executive director Anita and the new one Karen, they're in their office talking shit, like just running it down, like nasty, just talking about, because it's such, she said most of it she couldn't hear like names. She did hear like what was said about her, a few things, specifically, and she was like, this just going in. And so the new one is eating it up, where I can respect if, that person, if somebody brings you stuff, I'm again building it inside so well that if, I don't have to receive it, but I can hear it, I can hear it because maybe there's something to take, but I can respect somebody to be like, oh, wow, sis, like you was there second dark and smiling and kicking on in the face, and then you got all this to say. Wow. Like nasty stuff. She was telling me that she had overheard. And she was like, they don't know if I'm going to make some, noise getting on up out of here. And I plan to address it. She was like, I won't address it with the old ED because she no longer works here. We come to find out. Not come to find out. We knew this. She came from one of our partner hospitals, and now she went back to it. She negotiated good. It's good for her, right? Less work, from all over here being ED and all. And no wonder why sis was always stressed and her spirit was always, I just in distress because you being nasty. When I most recently, this award that we're about to receive, I had to submit the LOI. And so I went off of numbers from the last LOI because I was never privy to any of this. She kept everything for me, right? I was just running across. I was really working like a program coordinator. Okay, but being paid as a program coordinator, okay, let's go. Okay. So we had issues when I was content and comfortable at times. So, okay, cool. You want to call me a minimalist, but you're only giving me minimal work. Okay, gotta find this. I always pride myself in like, you go and ask for more tests. You ask for this, and I did that. It was it was so many issues there. Like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You don't want to learn our data system, but our data manager, like, there's some inconsistency somewhere with data. And so while he could probably put his eyes, wool over your eyes or whatever, or somebody somewhere, maybe it's the system, whatever. But I'm learning this, and it's like, well, I don't even know how to bring this to you. Like, you saying you don't even want to learn it. Like, but then you want to tell me, come to find out, she done made up numbers in this LOI to the state. Like, so I went off of that. So it makes me look like I didn't know what I was doing or talking about. And I get that this is one of the first things that our new executive director is signing off on. So, I get that's your name and all that, but you need to understand that this person, you said he ate this up. You didn't just say like, oh, okay, I hear it, but I ain't receiving it. You kikied and ate it up. Like that's what I'm saying. I can believe it now and can really see it. Like, oh, this enemy that you're allowing to take over you and work through you, I don't receive that spirit. No. And if you so choose to continue to be that, you do that, but no, thank you. Right? Not for me. And so, honey, that conversation on that. So as far as I know, that's been like brought up, has never, of course, come out. So that's why I've mentioned like, whatever maybe under some impression that you're under of me or what you think you know about me or what's been told of me, I said in our meeting today. So fast forward to that. As we get into it first, all I had initially, and I've recorded it. The only thing is I missed the part where it was like I'd asked, remember in the email, and then when we got on the call, can we record this? No, you can take notes. And now you've set the tone for this conversation because here I am. It's a brand new, fresh day. I've always carried it that way. It can be in a meeting or something, you go toe to toe and all that, and then after we'll go happy out like back when back when I was doing that. Like, no, ma'am, no. So okay, you set this tone for this meeting today. So now it's, so I would go straight into because Tuesday and this and that. So what, and you get on to, so what is this? When you tell she's reading from something, so what do you need from me? What's the support from me? I will do as I'm told. I just kept unmuting it. I will do as I'm told. Well, what support? Whatever you ask me to do. Well, whatever you asked me to do. So I kept going from there. Then I eventually, spoke my piece. I don't know, I might play you next week, but like spoke my piece of like, that was it. We're both professional adults. So the disrespect, it will not be tolerated. It's unnecessary. Truth be told, like just went in, that respectfully, right? And professionally, and all of that. But I missed the part where, like I said, she said I could take notes. Was like, well, I recorded it on my phone because I feel very unprotected as an employee, very unprotected as your staffer, as your subordinate, like very unprotected. No, thank you. I had no interest in any of this. And so, no, and all of this, I plan. I'm going to put out, I think now I have to find them, but all of our executive director, our board, which includes some partners from our hospital. So, and it includes even Baby Girl City Schools. Okay. You're going to know that all of this has been happening behind the scenes on because the way she's carrying it is all this, let's talk here and all that. And it's not going for, no. I feel unprotected. And I plan, the only nasty part about it is because I plan to include everybody on all staff and all that. It's not, I'm not saying anything nasty. I might have, screenshots of each email thread and all that. Like, no, you're going to have receipts and all that. Like, all of this because my 3 asks, they include the staff. Like my 3 asks to the board is for some policy, for some clarity around, respect and decorum and interaction between the executive director as well as staff. Also, because guess what, y'all? I was written up. After our call, she still wrote in things after I cleared it up. Because after I finally started talking, I cleared up. She said that I didn't do the survey and this and the third and things that we had talked about, and you didn't give me a chance to even get there to do that on the program committee call. So you still put these untrue things that I just cleared up for you in this write-up that you initialed. It literally doesn't even ask for a signature. Doesn't even ask for it. So, but guess what? I still refuse to sign it anyway because I plan to include that. Like, look how inconsistent you are as an executive director, as a professional. No, thank you. So you will, and you've now said that you've added this into my personnel file. No, you'll take that out of there. And as we continue to go on, cash out my PTO. I got going on 4 consecutive weeks. Yeah, cash me out. Ready to go. Ready to go. Have never felt like this, even in some horrific work experiences I've had. So it's time to go. There's a shift happening. There's a shift coming. I'll keep y'all posted. I'll keep y'all updated. Y'all, hopefully this helps you feel better that all this is happening with professionals. So imagine anybody from, I don't know, help me down anywhere. Like just they like not so much of an office setting. Like just imagine. I could only imagine. And so where you have rights, as a human being, as a U.S. citizen, as a Maryland resident, or whatever state you're, as your respective states, a resident there. And as an employee, you do have rights. And even for our nonprofit organizations, I have now learned that the nonprofit that I work for is the typical nonprofit organization that I never saw before. Never saw this, but typical. People talk about how they don't care about their people, want the work to continue to go on, and all of that. Here we are. Here we are, loud and clear that this is no good anymore for me. Might be good for somebody else. It was a big blessing when it came for me. Big blessing. It was such a blessing. That's why I said the question that we will get back to next week is, how do you handle when an answered prayer now has shifted in a new season? That's how you got to be aware. On the inside of you got to be aware of the seasons of your life. So now I'm in a new season to where what was once the biggest blessing in my life, because I came in from my last organization, this was double my salary. All of a sudden, like, and I just cried about, just funds and finances and all that. This was double my salary, but that I was receiving beforehand, right? So this was a huge answered prayer. So how do you handle when an answered prayer now is shifted, in a new season as a burden, as used as a pedestal or your to make you uncomfortable in order to speak to your elevation. Something that I've been told this week that I wanted to share with y'all, because in the same day, how about later on that night on Tuesday, then I open an email that I'm being asked to bring forth one of the one of the 7 last words. Y'all know it's a big deal. Like, I'm so humbled and honored. So here it is. Here I wanted to bring some final words and unsolicited words. Now I'm being asked to bring forth the word of God. Stay encouraged. Be encouraged. Okay. We're gonna talk more next week. Okay. Have the faith to fail. Okay. That should be tip of the week. Have your faith to fail. Until next week. I love you.